Dirty Wars. A new book out this week from investigative journalist Jeremy Scahill reveals that Obama was, quote, surprised and upset and wanted an explanation when he heard that the 16-year-old son of al-Qaeda leader Anwar al-Awlaki was killed in a drone strike. Zach Abdurrahman al-Awlaki was killed 2 weeks after his father. He was an American citizen, and a former senior official in the Obama administration told Scahill that, quote, they had no idea the kid was there and that it was a mistake, a bad mistake. Do you think they ever get justice?
I think justice under the drone program is going to be very elusive for people who are wronged by it. You know, the administration has been very clear about the standards by which they authorize a drone strike against somebody. You know, it basically has to be a senior level al-Qaeda official, and there has to be no other real option for bringing them to justice than actually killing them with this drone. But somehow we've killed over 6,000 people through drone strikes. So not all 6,000 of those people were senior level al-Qaeda officials. And I think what's really frightening about the reporting in Jeremy Scahill's book is that one official is saying this is a bad mistake, but then other people in the CIA think that this was actually intentional, and they don't really know what happened, according to Scahill's reporting. That indicates that whatever the official policy guidelines are, this program is being run in a manner that's not entirely consistent with what we're getting from the Obama administration.
But see, that's the thing, Zach. The al-Awlaki family is demanding accountability, not just blame, but some level of accountability. Not just saying, look, we did it, we made a mistake, but saying, look, there has to be some sort of measure of justice on the other side, and there needs to be some sort of mechanism imposed so that we can prevent this from happening again. Does any of that actually happen?
I mean, you know, in the United States, if a police officer murders somebody, you know, incorrectly kills somebody, there are steps that can be taken to hold that person accountable. They can be charged with a crime. It very rarely happens, but it is something that can happen. I think the rarity of that happening, even with police forces in the United States, where there are much you know, sort of longer term in place standards for what to do, indicates that the idea that there's actually going to be some sort of you know, some sort of accountability for the people who are involved in this particular strike is very, very low. And it's particularly low given that, you know, we've seen civilians killed in drone strikes. You know, 6,000 people have died. So you're just not going to, it just seems very unlikely to me that once the government starts saying, okay, well, we'll deal with this particular, you know, slip up. What do they do about the other 6,000 people?
Yesterday, the Obama administration skipped out on the Senate's first hearing Tuesday on the use of drones for targeted killings. Senators Durbin and Cruz had this to say.
I do want to note for the record my disappointment that the administration declined to provide a witness to testify at today's hearings.
And I'd like to echo the concern that the chairman raised and the disappointment that the Obama administration declined to send a witness, particularly after this hearing was delayed for 1 week in order to accommodate the administration's schedule.
Zach, you're a former senior advisor to Ted Cruz. Answer this for me. The lack of transparency from the White House on its drone policy has long been a subject of debate. So if the White House isn't actually in the room, what's the point of the hearings?
I think politically this is a really bonehead move by the White House, because Ted Cruz is someone who's not particularly popular in Washington, and when he does grandstandy type of things, he generally gets gets a lot of pushback and a lot of guffaws from other members of the Senate. But here's an issue. You know, even people who support the basic idea behind the drone program are upset with the level of transparency that the Obama administration has presented. And like we were just discussing, you know, it's very difficult to know what's actually going on inside the program at any given moment.